with us, Mary. Come with us, Mary. Come with us, Mary. Come.
My dear friends, for today's reflection, I'd like to take a reading from the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verses 2 to 5. I know your works, your toil, and your patient endurance. I know that you cannot tolerate evildoers. You have tested those who claim to be apostles, but are not, and have found them to be false. I also know that you are enduring patiently and bearing up for the sake of my name, and that you have not grown weary. But I have this against you, that you have abandoned the love you had at first. Remember then from what you have fallen. Repent and do the works you did at first. If not, I will come to you and remove your lampstands from its place unless you repent. I like to thank His Grace Most Reverend Tumma Bala for giving me and Father Richard this opportunity to conduct this virtual recollection for the Archdiocese of Hyderabad priests. It gives me a great pleasure that with this recollection we are going to come together as one flock of priesthood to show that we are together in this time of coronavirus lockdown, and we are here to make our lives more meaningful during this distress time. And I like to thank all who have made it possible to be online for this recollection. I welcome each and every one of you for this recollection. My dear friends, I'm going to talk about sober things today. The foundations on which you build your life, the foundations on which you build your life will be the only thing that will stand the storms of life, the storms that may come. Until it come, maybe, the storms will definitely come in our lives, and they will come. It is not a question of if, but when. Dear fellow priest friends, we are living in the most precarious moment of all times, with the ordinary and the extraordinary ability to communicate, but substance has been compromised at the altar of selfishness and self-propagation. Never before have we ever seen so much of hypernated words with self, and the ultimate time is the selfie time. What is this selfie time? Well, we are all preoccupied with the self. We are preoccupied with ourselves, and we have lost contact with the objective truth. The objective truth, ultimately we never know. The next day morning when we get up, whether our obituaries are in the newspaper. But we are caught up with ourselves. None of us dreamt that when we get up, we will hear the terrible explosion in Lebanon, how hundreds of people died. And it was time for those people who died to stand before God at that time, regardless of how they lived their life. So also, regardless of my preaching or anyone in preaching, I want to talk on sober thoughts today, on sober thoughts which will help us. What is it about? It is about the Word of God. Nothing else, because we know that the Word of God gives us the truth that will last forever. I stand here before you and at the age of 59 with 32 years of priesthood experience. I heard my colleague, 60 years old, suddenly calling me up and saying, Father Alex, I am in the 6th stage of COVID-19. He is a toweringly built man. I lost him. It was sad when he told me this. I thought he was joking. Well, life is like a vapor. It is here today and it is gone. All the medals that we have fall off. All the credentials that we have will all be gone. It's just like a vapor. Therefore, finally, when we go away from this world, what remains? What does God think of me? Finally, it is that, what does God think of me? So I give you 4 pillars, the 4 pillars on which we can build our life. God's Word builds our life for sure. And the strength of these 4 pillars, I like to take you to the first pillar, eternity. The eternity that we speak of. Eternity, we don't live for the moment. We live with the eternal perspective, because we all are sons of the soil. You know, in Hindi, they very often say, "Hum dardi ke aadmi hai." Hum dardi ke aadmi hai means, I am the son of this soil. If you and I are the son of this soil, remember that we are here because God created this soil. And one day we will be there in that eternity as sons of the Father. That is eternity. Therefore, hum dardi ke aadmi hai is true. Well, I like to tell you what affected me more. It was in 1968, I was just about 7 years old when my daddy one evening comes home, tells to all the 12 children and my mother, today is a beautiful day. It was on December 1968. Today is a beautiful day. And what was that beautiful day? It was on that day the astronauts were going to land on the moon. And it was expressed in such a way in the news that the blue crystal and the black side of the moon and these few astronauts landed on the moon, and when they landed on the moon, what came to their mind at that time? What do you think that these astronauts thought? They thought about the first words of the scripture. They looked at the moon and said, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Those were the first thoughts that came to the mind of the astronauts. And when I heard this recently in one of the YouTube, I had goosebumps all over. Why? Because it was very touching when these astronauts spoke to us about the scripture on the moon. That is eternity. And therefore, when they spoke about this, Aldrin, an astronaut who recently came out openly and said, when we landed on the moon, when we came out of the spaceship, I took out from my pocket a vial of wine and bread. And we all bowed down our head and poured the wine into the cup and broke the bread. And that bread and wine was a communion with the Heavenly Father on the surface of the moon. My dear friends, just realize God creates and God communes. That is the depth reality of what you and I live today. Time is like a painting for us. We are given the brush to make our paints and make our story out of this brush. And finally, when we go before the Heavenly Father in heaven, there will be our canvas. And what did you paint? Paint our lives during our lifetime. That is eternity. If this is eternity that I am speaking of, what did Jesus tell us of eternity? The Sermon on the Mount. That is a beautiful explanation of eternity, especially the Beatitudes. That will be ever in our thoughts and our minds. The parables are the lessons for our today and for eternity. The healing deliverances, the rising of the dead, for us to live with a hope for another day and one day with Him in eternity. That is eternity. Jesus' life and resurrection for us is eternity. The sacraments is for us to nourish here and to have a place in that eternal banquet. That is how I will look at it. The sacraments is for our nourishing. Jesus came to give us that eternity. Today, my dear friends, the new order of the post-COVID-19, what will be of us? We need to use our resources as priests for reaching out our parishioners and our community and be in touch with them and keep our flocks together. That is the most important. It has made us to move from our comfort zone. This COVID-19 has made us move from our comfort zone. And it has made us move so that we now have a paradigm shift from the formal to the informal way of presenting to our people through our media. This is the paradigm shift that we have. We need to use our media, we need to use the technology for making people not to be lost but to be found. Our ministry has to be doubled during the post-COVID-19. The situation today is only uploading and downloading. Previously it was only unloading. Our ministry was unloading to the people, but today it is downloading and uploading every service and liturgy. Therefore, we have a total change. I need to become professional and have a professional touch in all my celebrations, my mass, because I am going to give it online. I have to become a little more careful. The pandemic has not stopped our spiritual life, but it has made our gloomy lives more active and to be on our toes. That is what the post-COVID-19 will do. It has made us put masks on our faces to shut up, but not to shut up, but when to talk and what to talk. That is the reason maybe God has given us this new facelift of a mask on our face, so that we know when to talk and what to talk. This is what is eternity. God gives us this pillar of eternity. The second is the pillar of morality. Please hear me. So much of morality is spoken by UN. So much of morality is spoken about evil empire, satanic empires, and how they misrepresent bad as good, good as bad, and bad thing as wrong, good thing as right. We talk about even today the right and the left, and we are caught up by telling, are you on the right or are you on the left? The transcendental perspective is not that. When we speak about are you on the right or are you on the left, we have forgotten there is an up and down. We only talk about the right and the left, but there is an up and down. In our morality, we have lost the touch from the down to the up and up to the down. Why? Because we have given up. The evil has taken over us. We have the books. And in our Bible, we have the 10 Commandments that will tell us about the moral law which is vertical and horizontal in dimension. Remember, the 10 Commandments is moral law, the vertical and the horizontal dimension that tells us about the moral way. It hangs on only one peg, and that peg is, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, and you shall have no other God. This is the moral law that he had. He did not come for this. Remember, Jesus did not come to make bad people good. No, he did not come for that. He came so that the dead people may live. That is the most important. He did not come for moral people. He came here so that morally lost in morality may come to life to know salvation is there. Salvation is not a gift that is earned, but it is a gift that you and I can get it from the Lord. Today, my dear friends, when we speak about morality, what does Jesus say? Jesus on the mount, when he transfigured, he had Moses and Elijah there. And the 3 apostles very dear to him, the prophetic message, this is my son. And what do we find? We find the fulfillment of the law and the prophet. So it makes us morally true with our law of love of God and neighbor, and it also makes us a person who can be prophetic. I can become prophetic in my way of living or messaging to others. Jesus very clearly says in the law that I am the Lord of the Sabbath. Jesus will say these things for our moral life. Jesus will one day open his eyes. You may think, no one is looking at me. I am becoming arrogant, headstrong, ruthless. No one is seeing at me. One day, he will open his eyes and it will be too late for us. Live a consciously good life and be a holy person. Therefore, the new order for the post-COVID-19 for our morality is the morality has also affected our behavior pattern that is being furnished. That is cleanliness to godliness. Today we are very cautious to be clean, to be sanitized. So the COVID positive is making us cleanliness to godliness. The second aspect, it taught us to seek for only the essentials, not to go for everything that the eye sees. So this COVID is going to teach you what you have to go, only for the essentials in your life, not for whatever you see as before. This COVID morality will change. He has made us to withdraw ourselves into our own shells when it comes that we want to become close to someone or affectionate. I have to withdraw myself during this time of pandemic. This COVID-19 has made us health conscious, and we need to exercise and be fit for the kingdom of God. To do my ministry, I have to be fit. If I am tested positive and I am in the hospital, my flock will not be without any service. Therefore, it is necessary that I also be conscious about my health condition. Now we have to think also about the moral life that we live. We need to have time to reevaluate, like how the reading says from the book of Recollection. Morality rate may shoot up. Immorality may be reduced during this pandemic. Look at all the crimes that are happening. It has reduced quite a lot. Morality has increased. Immorality is slowly disappearing. Therefore, we have the pillar of eternity, the pillar of morality, And the third one is the pillar of accountability. It means that the core world problem is not you or them, but the core problem in the world begins with these words. It is me. It is I. There are series of articles in Times how the world is wrong. And that is why G.K. Chesterton, when he wrote in the editor, this world, I am wrong. That's all he wrote. This world, I am wrong. Yours faithfully, G.K. Chesterton. It means, I am wrong in this world. We all have to look at the mirror and recognize we are looking at the heart of what is wrong in me in this world. We have in a way betrayed God's law, walked away from Him. Do you think when God made all these laws, how many laws did He make? He made only one law. He made only one law. Do not eat that fruit from the tree of good, knowledge of good and evil. Do not eat. And if you eat, you will surely die. This is the only law that was there. But what happened, we know. Today, because of that disobedience, we have healthcare laws more than 2,000 pages. It was not the apple on the tree. It was the pear on the ground which made the mistake for us. What does this tell you? Do not play now. Do not play. Because you go anywhere, there will be cautions written. Don't press this, don't do this, don't do that. There will be so many cautions written. All this, finally we go and do it. There should be only one caution. And the caution is, do not mess with me. Do not mess with me is a better caution than telling, don't do this, don't be this, don't have a wet hand, don't. We are all caught up with so many conscience. And that is why today, my dear friends, why do they have to give so many descriptions of what to do? Just say, don't do this. And what does the scripture says about accountability? The scripture very beautifully says in the gospel, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. I have been chosen to be God's chosen one, and I have to give to God what belongs to God in and through my ministry. Not just give to Caesar. No, I also have to give to God what belongs to God. If I am able to do my work correctly, faithfully, and with reasonable thought, I am giving back to God what belongs to God. Jesus has given us life in all its abundance. He has promised for all those who have left their father, mother, each one of us. He has said, I will bless you with 100-fold. And he told the apostles, I will make you sit on the thrones of the 12 tribes. And if that is a promise, my dear friends, the accountability, Jesus says, don't worry about it. Jesus has given us in full. You have to answer this on the last day. That is accountability. Jesus anointed you and each one of us and given us talents. But as are we doing and giving back the fruits that are eternal? That is accountability. Am I giving back the fruits that will last? You have the best things in this world today during your lifetime. But remember, we must always know that we are answerable to every part of this life. The thief on the right side said, he did not do anything. He is an innocent man. He is suffering. That man was saved because he knew that Jesus was innocent. You and I, doing our work will be called innocent if only we are sincere and accountable to every work, both spiritual and secular. This COVID-19, after this COVID-19, what will be of our accountability? Today we don't have Sunday collection, no subscription. Our collections are very poor. Our balances are less. School fees, college fees, institutions will be hit badly. I think now we will know our accountability. God is telling us to look at it. People receive a half salary and many losing jobs will have to lick the dust of the earth and seek for alternatives. But you and I in our ministry are being blessed that our ministry is not going to be hampered. But we continue to do because the church is still poor and the church's image is always poor and it should remain always poor. Well, if this is the situation, will robbery, theft, looting and all like increase due to money failures? Shall we be dropping breadcrumbs from our table for the less fortunate ones? Yes, I suppose it is time that we also be accountable for the poor suffering. Eternity, morality, accountability, and finally, the last one is charity. You know, God is the God of love. I have to learn with my people who disagree with me. I was asked to learn to live with people who don't even stand with me. I have heard and I have learned to reach out and shake hands with somebody who wishes to condemn me. I am able to make that adjustment because I know it is charity that begins at home. Therefore, even if they criticize me, they put me down or stand against me or condemn me, I have to be still reaching out. In Hindi, there is a saying, Gadi chal rahi hai. Gadi chal rahi. In other words, the clock is walking. The clock is working. The clock is working. But actually, the translation is, the clock is running. Time is running, my dear friends. The time is running fast. Like, I seen a lady who lost her car keys. She hit her forehead, slapped it on her forehead and said, I don't know, I'm losing my mind. Her little son standing there, Mommy, if you lose your mind and if you lose your heart, please don't lose that, because I am inside that heart, I am inside that mind. This is what Jesus teaches us. That we should not lose our cool. We should not lose our soberness because of these tensions that are coming in today. Because there is fear so much, whether if I get a cold or fever, I have to immediately take precautions. We have to be a person who can be cool and say, I have not lost my balance. And therefore, I close my eyes to see Jesus on the cross, the crown of thorns that is really causing so much of pain, and how cool he is about it. That same thing, I want that love, which is like a fire always burning in his heart and in my heart. God has you in his heart. Not like the woman who said, I am losing my mind. No, God has you in his heart. Therefore, what the scripture says about charity, charity is obedient unto death. For me, Jesus was so obedient unto death. That is charity. Charity is a time where Jesus says about the mite of the widow, the Samaritan, the extra mile that you can walk for the people. Give a shirt and your coat as well. Turn your right cheek and your left cheek. That is charity. And that is how charity is whatsoever you do to the least of my brother. Charity is to make other person feel happy. I have to do that. Do for others what you expect others to do to you. That is charity. Charity is not to count my own treasures, your own wealth, all that we have amassed. No. But how I can give my 100% to the poor. Charity is nothing but having a pulse for the poor. Therefore, we know that this COVID-19, the post-time, we will learn what? We will learn to distribute our goods, our time for the poor. I am not able to seek support from my own parishioners for the needy ones, but now I am able to support because they are with me. The parishioners are there to help us. Therefore, it is only we who have to give them that pulse for the poor. People were ready to come and help the poor. We have rations and we have given them 7 times, 8 times so far. Why? Because now we have the feeling that they are suffering. The aspect that will change in our life also is, I have become more generous. You know, those days, if you want to build a church, people come, Father, I'm going to give you this, Father, I'm going to give you that. If you want to put up a statue, Father, my name must be there. Today, it is going to change totally different. Am I willing to give without the left hand knowing what my right hand is doing? Have I become more creative with the little resources that I have to reach out my people and more especially the poor? Has this COVID brought me love? Love first in me and then among my people. Is this situation of the period of learning? It is only the learning of love, because love is nothing but charity. Jesus said, learn from me. Should we have this new way of life as learning from Jesus? We learn from so many people, so many things. We have hero worships. But my Lord is telling me, learn from me. Let us learn that love and charity from Him. Is this going to be the new order of the day? Love, charity. Therefore, the sober thoughts of eternity, morality, accountability and chastity is like a time, like a hammer. The hammer or the word of God is there till the end will. Time hammers away each day. It hammers till the end. Still, what remains is God's words abiding in me forever. The truth. This truth is that will prevail. The structures may not be there. They lead you towards the foundation of eternity, morality, charity. Take these 4 pillars, my dear friends, and anchor it in this world and make this world a better place. God bless you. May this COVID-19 make us a powerful army for the kingdom of God. Amen. Now we have a break of 15 minutes. We'll have tea. All of you, wherever you are, online, have a little break, have tea. We'll come back exactly at 11:15.